What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks so much for being here and for being subscribed. If you are, if you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, while you're at it, hit that like button. It's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this podversation/reality chat. This is going to be a conversation style because I am behind the wheel. So I apologize for any noise in the background. If you hear a siren, if you hear the air blowing because it is already hot and it is morning time, that's what it is, guys. But listen, Love and Marriage Detroit. Have you seen these episodes that have come out this far? I believe there's been 3 episodes at this point. And listen, I did a previous conversation reality chat where I just talked about this franchise altogether and what it appears Carlos King is trying to portray to the public when it comes to marriage. It's giving me Married with Children vibes, the sitcom, which was honestly a whole lot more entertaining than the shows in this franchise, because what we have been seeing with Love and Marriage Huntsville, you already know. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. And then Love and Marriage DC, the headlining couple, they've gone through their embarrassment on that first season of that franchise. And now the wife has filed for divorce. And a lot of people felt what some people called out, which was she did the show to just pretty much try to make it look like Chris was the bad person, so that when she eventually did file for divorce, when she hit that 10-year mark, or maybe a little bit over, to make it appear as if she really tried. She just gave it this extreme effort to try to make the marriage work, that people could see why she had no choice and no alternative but to go ahead and pull the plug on that relationship. So with that being said, now Love and Marriage Detroit, I can't say that anybody is worse than the former husband, which is Arion's baby white hotel, birth name Martell, and the Scott brothers. But are the husbands on Love and Marriage Detroit looking any better? Absolutely not. It's only 3 episodes in, and these people, they, in the introductions, made them look like they're just movers and shakers of the Detroit society. They're making money, they're moving, they're shaking, they're making moves. And so they're doing great things. And then not long after, you see these people just being utterly ridiculous. I don't even remember all of their names, to be honest with you. So that's just how much I care. I don't. But the husbands are absolutely ridiculous. The one guy who's married to a doctor, she's absolutely beautiful. She kind of gives me vibes of someone that's sort of settled. And I'm not saying that she's too pretty to be with someone that looks like him. That's not what I'm saying. But he seems like he wears the panties in the relationship, but he wants to act as if he's wearing the pants, because he gives me, I hate to say it like this, but listen, I'm just being honest. He gives me bitch vibes. If you've watched the episodes thus far, you have seen this dude try to give off this appearance of being this strong family man. He talks about how he has this event for men, and they're going to do a retreat where all the men, all the husbands are going to come together, and this is to help build up the men and build up the husbands, and this old crap that he was trying to portray. And he does not strike me as a man's man or a leader of the male society, if you will. He was at his wife's wine tasting event at a wine store, wine restaurant, whatever it was, where they're supposed to be friends of the owners, and they had people over to taste the wine and give their honest opinion about her brand, which is called Opulence. And this guy is sitting there arguing with a woman across the table as well as inserting himself into the, I guess we call them the star married couple of the show, the guy with the bun on top of his head and the influencer Christian woman who has a very whiny voice. And I mean, it's just, she's beautiful. She doesn't seem like she knows her own worth, because this guy, he acts as if he is bothered by her. But again, the guy that I was just speaking about, who's married to the doctor, he's inserting himself into their relationship, into their marriage. They're having this argument at the table, which is embarrassing, because they're arguing about, I don't even remember what they're arguing about, to be honest with you. That's just how relevant it was. It wasn't. And they're doing it in public. Extremely embarrassing. And they're doing it at their supposed friend's business event, which is her wine tasting launch event. And they're sitting there fussing about their personal issues. He had an anniversary picnic for them at a lavender farm on the previous episode, I believe it was. And then they get into an argument there. Extremely embarrassing. He's, I guess, held some information back about an artist that he was working with that he didn't share or disclose with his wife. And she feels insecurities because he had been inappropriate with, I guess, a previous artist or someone that was trying to be his artist, or he was trying to have her be an artist. He's lying to her about being in the club, which, to be honest with you, that club scene, I never frequented clubs, so that's just never been my scene, but I know what they look like. And that club scene, that just didn't strike me as a real club. I'm not saying it wasn't a real club, but it definitely didn't strike me as a real club scene. The girls that were twerking, they're like, they looked like they had just gotten off working at the office, and they, went over to happy hour. I don't know. It was weird. And then he's sitting there, he's on the phone with her, and he's lying about where he's at, as if she's not going to see the show and see that he was lying to her. And then after the wine launch event, the guy with the bun on top of his head, the music producer, and his influencer Christian wife, they're arguing and fussing on the streets. And then he's like asking her, do you really want to be married to me? Like, this is coming out on the 3rd episode of the show. So was this a scheme that Todd set up to come at us with the bow skip? Because you can't tell me that this was some healthy marriage, and then once the camera started rolling, it just pulled all of these skeletons out of the closet and things started being revealed. This is crazy. And then the guy that I was just talking about that wears the panties in a relationship and wants to act as if he's wearing the pants because he wants to give off this macho bravado about, men and being the head and the lead and let me lead, let me be the man. Men who speak like that, they have issues, because real leaders don't have to ask to allow people to lead them. He, I feel, has some issues within himself that he needs to address. I'm not going to go into all of that, but he seems as if he is someone that, I don't know, let's say maybe, you've seen stories. I'm just going to try to give a scenario. And I'm not saying this is him, but I'm saying what it looks like in my personal opinion. You've heard these stories and these scandals about men that have been married. They're preachers in the church, like that's born and raised, all of that stuff. And they get married to women, and they get married to beautiful women at that, to try to give off this persona as if they're like the straightest of the straight men, when in all actuality, they have been closeted for a very long time. But because they're not secure in who they are, they want to give off this appearance that they are these extremely manly men. And that's the type of vibes that I get from him. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's exactly who he is, but I'm saying that is what it appears to be. It looks similar to that type of situation and scenario when it comes to that guy. Again, I don't even remember his name. So Then you've got the other couple, the wife who's also another influencer. I'm assuming she's a Christian as well. And then her husband, who is now in divinity school, didn't bring that up to her prior to him just signing himself up. And she's like shocked and stunned by it, because she's like, yeah, I grew up in a household where my dad was a preacher, my mom was a first lady. I don't see myself being anybody's first lady. That's not what I want for my life. And so I'm not okay with that. And you're just telling me that that's what you're doing, or that's what you've already done. You've already signed up for school. You're already in school for it. So like, what are you doing? What are you trying to tell me? And it's looking like that's exactly what she might be. And I've never understood the thing when it comes to these preachers and the wife being a quote unquote first lady. Just because you want to be a preacher, why do I have to get involved in your career? Like, if you were going to be the CEO or executive of a Fortune 500 company, would that automatically make me your executive assistant? So I've never understood that. It's a weird thing to me, but it's tradition, I guess. And he wants to be a preacher man and she doesn't want to be a first lady. But these are the marriages that we are seeing, and they're horrible representations. I'm not going to be one of these people to say there's an attack and an assault on marriages these days. I personally feel that the industry of relationships, it's a huge business. There is huge money in weddings. So there's huge money in marketing weddings. It builds up a lot of emotions, and a lot of the marketing that you see for anything, honestly, anything, not just weddings, but for anything, marketing that you see for products or services, it is emotional marketing, because it is to play on the emotions of people, whatever that emotion is that they're trying to evoke out of that individual to get them to buy. So you had this huge industry of weddings. So you've had the television shows, say yes to the dress, not say yes to the spouse, not say yes to the marriage, say yes to the dress, say yes to the wedding, say yes to the stuff, say yes to the appearance, the parties, having 2 or 3 dresses and changing out and doing all that other stuff. There is a lot of money in that, as well as there's a lot of money in people being coaches and coaching people in relationships and all of that type of stuff, because it makes a lot of money. But there rarely is a lot of investment in making sure that these people who are deciding to join themselves together, like the vows say, let no man put asunder, but they're putting themselves asunder because they really shouldn't be married in the first place. A lot of people get married for the wrong reasons. And I've said this before, a lot of people are getting divorced because there are a lot of broken people getting together with broken people, and they're getting into these arrangements and relationships that they should not have been involved in the first place, let alone getting married and making a commitment, which is a legal commitment. It definitely is a legal thing, but it's a smart thing to do if you are in a relationship and you're trying to make sure that ultimately when life ends, which it will for everyone, you can ensure yourself that you are the rightful party that is the next of kin, or, situations like that. You don't want somebody coming along and they're like, yeah, I know you've been with this man for 40 years, but he was also seeing me and we have children together. Or the parent comes along and they're like, well, he never married her, so I'm rightfully due to the things, and then you're getting kicked out of the home and all that stuff, or things are tied up in probate and all that. I'm just saying, but marriage and weddings, there's a huge difference. A lot of people want that pomp and circumstance of just making things appear beautiful, and this is my day, this is my wedding day, I've always dreamed of my wedding day. You don't even know what you're talking about. So many people do that stuff because of the emotional marketing that they have been subjected to. and they want what someone else has, and they've been to someone else's wedding and they sat there and shed tears, and it was so beautiful, and I'm dreaming of my wedding day now, and all this other stuff. And it's like, it really isn't about that day. And people spend all of that money and that time on that one day, and they don't think about the day after, or even after they leave the wedding reception, which usually isn't the day after, it's that night. I'm just saying, marriage, I wouldn't say that there's an assault on marriage, but I will say that there's definitely a lot of wrong teachings about it and a lot of wrong examples when it comes to marriage that we are seeing and are subjected to. And when it comes to shows like this Love and Marriage Detroit, these people are horrible examples of marriages, but also a great example, if you will, of what it looks like. Because when you saw the intro of the couples, they look like handsome and beautiful couples together, but the substance of what they really have for each other, what they really have within themselves, and what they have as a marriage, it just really isn't all there. So no one should be pining for anything that they have. No one should be wanting what they have. And also, I will say this, no one should look at what they are representing and say, see, this is why I don't want to get married. I wouldn't say that. If you don't want to get married, then don't get married. But I would definitely say I don't want to get married to somebody like that. I wouldn't want people to look at those relationships to be the beacon of what a marriage looks like. Those are terrible representations of it. And that is what Carlos King is showcasing on these franchises of love and marriage at this point. It's tragic. It's terrible. And I just wanted to talk about that. So you guys let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comment section below. Are you here for Love and Marriage Detroit? I'm not. I just really can't. I'm not saying I wouldn't catch episodes of it here and there if I don't have anything else to do and it's just like background noise as I'm doing something else. But it's definitely not going to be intentional. It's just ridiculous. And the guys that are supposed to be husbands on this show, they are absolutely horrible representations of what husbands should be. Some people may look at the exterior of some of these guys and think they look attractive. They may think the couples look beautiful, but all in all, there's nothing to envy. There's nothing to desire when it comes to who they are and what they have to offer, because they really don't have much to offer. And I'm just honestly waiting to see what terrible is going to happen that's going to play out in real life from these couples. I don't know if it's going to be anything like what we see happening on social media versus what happens on the television show with the Love and Marriage Huntsville cast. But overall, we're 3 episodes in of this show, and just seeing the way these people are, it's just absolutely insane. To see the guy who's married to the chick who is the doctor and who has her own wine brand, he wants to take credit for so much. He's like, well, I gave you the money to start your brand. And she's like, look, you helped, but don't say that you're the one that created this and you're the one that gave me all of it. Again, trying to exude his masculinity and his authority. And then another scene, they're on a boat and he's crying like a little girl. It's just weird. It's just weird to see this. So I really would love to know what you guys think about it. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.